European global currency could be possible, according to Chancellor Helmut Kohl. That was a trade-off, but there is also the possibility of a trade-off with the states. That is to say, we are going to have a global currency, and you are getting the possibilities of leaving the role of being the almighty dollar and the almighty power, and to enter a real globalization, new situation for everybody. Because if you do not accept this position, China is going to take it. As you know, China has already spoken about the special drawing rights. They have proposed to enlarge, as Mr. Owen said before, to enlarge the possibilities of this SDR. And they have gone further. They have proposed even a super sovereign currency, which means a new global currency. And the BRICS, that is to say, Brazil, India, China, and Russia, they have supported the position of China, and they are asking for a new super sovereign currency that has not the possibilities of privilege for only the US citizens who can lend and borrow in dollars, can pay in dollars, can go everywhere in dollars. And in the situation that China, who is the country with the biggest international reserves, some $2.7 trillion at present, they say in some places in China, how absurd it is for a country like China with still wide areas underdeveloped to invest in public debt of a foreign country instead of improving the standard of living of its own citizens. I know the relations are not very correct and that they are very complex situations, but this is true. The present system is supported by China, and China could change the situation in the next future according to the countries and developing countries and the BRICS, which are the real powers in the future, naturally Kazakhstan included. And where are we going from here? I should say that we need to go to the idea of a global currency. Robert Mandel, yesterday, he spoke about that. He is the author, as you know, everybody, of the optimal monetary areas theory. Martin Wolf, who is the main speaker, we could say like that, at the Financial Times, always explains that a global economy needs a global currency. And Joseph Stiglitz, also a Nobel Prize winner, he says that the present system is unsustainable and that to replace it with another based only by the dollar and the euro would be even worse. That's why he has proposed to the Special Committee of the United Nations a new design for the global currency. And same thing, Nouriel Roubini, professor at the University of New York, he said that 21st century will be the century of China, and the Chinese could propose the solution that we are trying to, let us say, not to act on it. A last argument, and not so far of the ending of my words. The projects of regional currencies have disappeared. I remember when I was making some surveys in Central American Common Market, they had the idea of a peso centroamericano. That is to say, the global currency for the whole market. It has disappeared as an idea. The Gulf Cooperation Council, the Arab countries with so much oil and so many resources, have already forgotten also the idea of a regional currency since Kuwait and Oman have withdrawn the scheme. And in South America, President Menem and even Mr. Lula at the beginning, they spoke about a South American Maastricht Treaty, something similar for a new global currency. They speak not anymore about this question. Well, let us finish with a few words of history and also some kind of philosophy. When in 1950, Mr. Monnet, who was the father of the European integration, I belong to the Chair Monnet system in the European Union myself, he visited Chancellor Konrad Adenauer to explain him the Schuman Declaration. And Adenauer said, Mr. Monnet, if you achieve these integration targets, that will mean the end of the wars between France and Germany forever. And the answer of Monnet was, yes, Mr. Chancellor, and besides that, we shall have laid the foundations for a future world government and a future global currency. That was said in 1950, and 40 years afterwards, the currency was born in Europe. We need that treaty. We need that Bretton Woods meeting. We need to start discussing these questions as a real horizon. We need Bretton Woods #2, because it is necessary to put an end to monetary turmoils, to have better conditions for world inflation, common measures of values, as it was said at the beginning of this session today, similar capacities of liquidity, lending and borrowing, financial stability. Remember Immanuel Kant, because besides all these economic interests and conveniences, there is something much bigger. And Immanuel Kant, in his essay on the perpetual peace written in 1795, he said that wars could only be finished when economic interests are handled with a common spirit. This common spirit, at least in part, is the global currency. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.